Hey friends, I know September's not quite over, but we're going to go ahead and do September update. Before I begin, I would love to know how your September's going. Maybe something that you're enjoying or not enjoying this school year. Let me know down there. Before I begin with our updates, a couple of channel things. Number one, I've had a couple people remark that I don't do day in the life videos, and it's true. Like, I've done a few here and there, but I'm not a vlogger. But I decided that I will do a week in the life that I'm working on taping this week. So be on the lookout for that. I am also going to dig into what we're liking and not liking more in depth about curriculum. I know I talk, sorry, my cat's trying to get up here. I know I obviously talk about that in these update videos each month, but I want to dig a little more into them than what I have time for in this one. So I'm only going to do a video for my 10th grader because my 12th grader really doesn't have much at home this year. So be on the lookout for that. And that brings me to the third thing, which is I am starting to build out my content for the next few weeks or for the next few months and figure out what I want to put on the schedule. And before I get filled in too much myself, I would love to know, what would you like to see here? Would you like to see, more curriculum reviews, or I don't know, whatever. Let me know. I am getting ready to tape my next video in the Everything You Need to Know About X subject for high school, which I'm going to do English Language Arts next. And then we are almost done with that series. So I do have that. But let me know what you want to see down there. Now, let's move on to each of the boys. Benjamin is my 12th grader. And he is taking, this year for the first time, classes at the community college. He's doing 2 horticulture classes right now. They are semester-long ones. And he's enjoying them. He's the only high schooler in it. And we knew going into it that he probably would be. But that's different for him. But also, it fits him. I know some teens, and Matthew would be one of them, would not enjoy that. But he doesn't mind. Starting in a couple of weeks, he will be taking a baking class through the community college as well. That one, so his horticulture class is 2 mornings a week, and then the baking class, he's being put into the high school section, which they bus the kids from the public school over to the community college, and so it's every afternoon, 5 days a week for 8 weeks. And that schedule's going to be a lot more, it's going to add a lot to his driving, because that's not, because of our distance from there. And so it will be interesting. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how he enjoys being in that situation. And I'm a little nervous also, just because the kids are coming together, they're going to be on the bus together, they go to school together, so they probably know each other. So how will he fit in? We'll see. Now at home, we've got 3 things we're doing. 1, English, 2, government, and 3, statistics. The statistics he's doing through Khan Academy. I created a class and assigned him as a student, and using both the high school statistics and probability course and the AP statistics and bio, he has enough math courses. This was partly in case he decides to do the one at the community college next semester. Otherwise, it's just an extra thing to keep his math skills fresh, and because it's a topic he enjoys in math. Now, at home, we're doing a year that's going to be both an American history and a government. He's already has 3 years of history, world history. But through there, we've also interspersed some American history. So for him, he's going to end up with 4 full credits of history but knowing that like he's not doing a full year of American history this year, so he'll have 3 world history and one American history. Then we're also doing the government, and in that, of course, we're also incorporating some history. So it's kind of a... If you asked me to write out a lesson plan for you, I couldn't do it. He's hit pause on American history for right now because we are at that point where we're pulling historically into, early 1800s. So it feels like a good time to pause and focus on some government for a while. For U.S. history, we are using primarily U.S. History Detective, which I have a couple of videos about. I will leave them down there. And then additional resources. For government, we are primarily using iCivics, which, if you don't know, this is a free website created by Sandra Day O'Connor, but I don't know if it was a foundation of hers or how that works. But anyway, her legacy is part of this. There are lesson plans. A lot of it, even though some of them say that they're good for high school, I would say they really kind of are a little on the young side, at least the ones I've looked at so far. But we're making it work. So he's using part of that, which I've synced into Google Classroom. And then we've got some additional videos like crash course, and I'm going to assign both some nonfiction and some fiction books to him. So that's Ben's update. Matthew. I've got 2 things I want to talk about. First is his writing. We are doing Write at Home this year, which Ben has used for 2 years and then this year. And going into it, my main goal for this year was for someone else to teach him and someone else to assign him topics that I knew he wouldn't want to write. In part because I do think it's really important that kids learn, especially if they're college bound, to just get it written. It is such that stage of going from ideas in your head and getting stuck and learning just to get something down on paper and then go from there. In my experience, both personally and with my kids, that can be a really tough transition. And so that act of knowing you have to do it, so figure out a way to get started, is really important. And that's what this course is doing for him. So far, he's not enjoyed. I think they've had 4 writing assignments, and 2 of them for sure he has not enjoyed. But he's doing it, and he's managing it on his own, and he's getting it turned in on time, and those are all really important skills. So I do hope that he improves his writing this year, of course, and finds assignments that he enjoys. But if he doesn't, at least he's developing those other skills. And I would love for him to love the class, but more than that, I need him to work on developing those other skills that are important, especially for college-bound kiddos. Now, the other thing I wanted to do an update about is biology. Matthew is doing AP Biology through Blue Tint this year. This is our first year doing anything from Blue Tint. I have looked at them for years when Elizabeth was in school, for Ben, and it was just like never the right class at the right time to line up for us. But this year, when Matthew decided to do AP Bio, we had 3 online providers that we considered, and this one was the only one whose schedule worked out for us. Now, overall, the class, I think, is going much better than what I expected. I was really, and I think I talked about this in August, or the last update, I was really nervous about it. I still am, but less so. He just had his first test, and I'm not going to share his grade for his privacy, but I was pleased with his grade. he likes his instructor quite a bit. I've only listened in on the class once, and I thought she was really good. She talks really fast. So I don't know if it's just my age or what, but I really had to focus to understand what she was saying, but he didn't seem to have any problem. A few weeks ago, I realized that we could download the slides and put them on the iPad so he could take notes directly on there, because this is his first class at this kind of a level, and taking notes is not something he really has had much experience with. And he wasn't doing much during class. So, downloading that so that he has an easier time adding notes, because he's seeing what she's putting on the slides during class and how he can make notes with it. And that's, I think, been helpful for him. Well, you know what? I know it has, because he asked me about downloading, the following week's slides. So that's a good sign. And I think it was July, I put up a video about AP courses and things you need to know. And one of those things was to start early looking for someplace to get a testing seat. And I am glad that I took that advice, because I've had a hard time with it. None of the public schools in my area, my direct area, are offering AP Bio this year. North Carolina has a law now, I think it's 2023, that public schools have to offer a seat to homeschoolers for the test, but only if they're offering the test. Well, no one is, apparently. So I started reaching out to local private schools before I expand further, and almost all of them said no, we don't allow homeschoolers to do it. I did find one. She registered us, so I just need to run the check over to them to pay for it. So thankfully, we did that, because I did spend several hours before I got to that point. I'm going to take some sweets to the office and hope to get on their good side in case we need to use them in the next couple of years as well. So that is to say, if you have a student who's taking an AP class, or not taking the class, but wants to take the test in the spring, if you have not started looking for a seat, you need to get on that, because order registration or test order registrations, the cutoff is at the beginning of November, and so schools have to have a strict deadline on that. So you need to get in before then. So that's our update for this month. Like I said, I want to know how it's going for you. Let me know down there. And if you have any ideas for videos that you'd like to see, topics, be sure to leave it down there as well. And I will see you in the next video.